Welcome to the Romance Podcast. And first off, we want to apologize because we did skip 1 week because of the extended holiday weekend, Memorial Day.
I don't think I want to apologize. I think we just were on vacation.
No, we try to do it every single Thursday. We have done it every Thursday with two exceptions. One, when you gave birth.
Yeah.
Okay, we decided
fair.
we deserved that week off.
He was like, "Hey, do you think that?"
She's like, "No."
Do you think you're gonna hit it this week? I'm like, "I think I'm gonna just take this one. I'm gonna sit this one out."
And then after our 15th episode, Memorial Day extended weekend, you wanted to go home and visit your parents and family in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So it kind of was like tough for us to get one more episode in before you left. Mm-hmm. Actually, we talk about everything here. How did that trip go for you? Expectations versus reality. You and Marino, while me and Tristan stayed back here in Chicago.
Yeah. So,
be honest.
I was so excited to go home because, like, I just, obviously I want my parents to be around. Marino, it's really, like, this is the hardest it's ever been for me to not live near my parents. Because you want to share, like, the parenting moments with them and all the grandkid moments. And I really, really, really struggled with them not being more accessible. So,
and they're great with all the kids, all grandkids. Oh, yeah. They're really, really good. So it does suck that they're not living closer.
I know, because they're just like such active, good. Like they're just, I don't know, they're just awesome. Yeah. And I would say, and I hope you don't say this personally, my mom's the only person who like is as good as me with Marino.
Oh,
that's how I feel.
So you guys are like tied for second place behind me as who's the best with Marino.
You're on
tied for second. Cool.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I always get to like breathe like a sigh like of relief because I'm.
Well, let's dig into that. So you don't think that you can take a sigh of relief when I have Marino?
I think that I can.
You think that you can? Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think that my mom, and I think this happens with women in general. Mm-hmm. I think my mom's more patient than you.
Okay.
I think you get like cry like a little faster than she does, and it's probably because she's a grandparent, not like a full-time parent right now. So you get the ease of like it's fine. Like
for me, it's a daily thing. For your mom, it's like every few months.
It's also a daily thing for me. So
no, I know, but you're comparing your mom to me,
right? So
I get a little more frustrated because it's on the daily with me.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think that she's got it. I also think. Traditionally, this isn't it for everybody. I think that maybe what I'm learning is women in general are a little bit better with newborns. Mm-hmm. Like you can still be good with them, but I think it's just like it's such a full-time nurturing thing because it's not like, oh, go catch this ball or run around a playground or like it's very like nurturing. Let me figure out their needs, and naturally, it's kind of a women's thing. So I think that. We get a little less flustered with it sometimes. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay, well, anyways, let's skip over that because you did get flustered this weekend because it wasn't what you thought it was going to be with you and Marino on your first trip away from home.
I know. So I was so excited. I wake up for the morning show at 3 a.m. Mm-hmm. Okay? I don't get tons of sleep Monday through Friday. So here comes a long weekend.
Yeah, you left on Thursday.
After the show. So I did the show and then I left.
And came back on Monday midday.
And I was pumped because between grandparental help, okay?
Grandparental help, okay.
and then like not having to wake up for the morning show, I'm like, I am going to get so much sleep.
Yeah.
And Marino woke up at 9, 11, and 4 every night.
And he normally does not do that.
He sleeps through the night.
At our house. Right?
And I was like, okay. Like, I was like, he'll probably adjust. He'll probably do this. I don't think the pack and play was his jam-a-lama, okay? Mm-hmm. And like, I mean, I suppose I'm lucky. Like he's still
because he's got this crib. By the way, I keep looking over here because we have to monitor our baby as we're doing this right now.
We're both doing the podcast, so we gotta watch him.
Can y'all see that? Like he's sprawled out right now.
He's a good sleeper, man.
You can't really see. He's sprawled out in our big old crib. You're saying in the pack and play he wasn't that comfortable.
I don't think it's as we have a really great mattress and stuff in the crib, and
the lullaby music and the lights and stuff.
He just has like such a great routine, and we made sure the room was really dark, but his room actually is a little less dark, where he looks up and we have this little star nightlight thing, and he stares. So sometimes if he wakes up, he's got things that he likes to look at, and in this situation, he woke up and it's just dark.
Yeah.
And so he would I think he'd get really worked up. So it
wasn't what he thought.
I didn't get to sleep a lot. And every night my mom would also get up, typically after I've been up with him for over 30 minutes. I think she'd wait and be like, he's not going back to bed. Let me help her.
Yes.
Because after a while I needed to like pump. Like I had woke up to pump and then he's screaming. And now, I mean, he would not, like I had to go get a bottle. He wouldn't go down. Like it was crazy. And she'd finally like check in. Both times scared the hell out of me. Because one time I was downstairs getting the bottle ready and her cold hand just hit my shoulder. No words. And then the next time she just stood behind me till I turned around. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? She goes, I can't make you happy. Like every time I'm here, I was like terrified in the middle of the night.
Oh, jeez.
But it was just, I came home very tired. And my parents were awesome helping, but he just woke up a lot. Like there's just nothing you can do.
I felt really bad because you were very excited to go home. This was, by the way, this is your idea. You really wanted to go back to Minnesota. Kind of a last minute thing you decided to do. You and Marino, and full disclosure, you know, we have two kids here. We have Tristan and Marino. And why didn't I go? Because Tristan.
You don't love me?
No, because Tristan he does travel baseball, had a major tournament here, our home tournaments for baseball. He had games all weekend long. Memorial Day weekend's a big deal. Last week of school, piano recital.
Well, wait. We did not miss the piano recital.
No, but I'm saying
okay,
hold on. We thought about this. Honestly, we did not see eye to eye on this. It was a very, very busy week and weekend for her to decide, let's all just go to Minnesota. Again, I was last week of school, piano recital, his birthday party, and then this major tournament that he was in to have like 5 games on Memorial Day weekend. I couldn't divide and conquer. I couldn't leave Tristan, so therefore you wanted to go home, and so you went with Marino by yourself, and you were very, very excited to do so. Okay, I know you're mad at me that I didn't go, but I drove you to Wisconsin Dells, and your dad met us there, and then he took you the rest of the way.
Right, just because it was such a long road trip for the baby. I
didn't want you to drive. I said, okay, you could fly, I'll get you a ticket, but you didn't want to fly.
I did not want to fly. So I
said, you're not driving. I will drive you halfway. Your dad met us, and then we reversed that on Monday, right?
Yeah.
So, So, anyways, I felt really bad for you because you were so excited to go home. I could tell you missed your parents. You wanted to see them. You were so excited. And day number 1 felt great. You called me. You were in good spirits, and the baby slept all night. And then every other day sucked when it comes to his sleep, when it comes to his frustrations, when it comes to his behavior. It just wasn't what you thought and what you dreamt it was going to be.
It was hard.
Be honest, right?
I really thought I would get more rest because he is a good sleeper. So I was.
But it's not even just the rest. It was just, you said he was fussy, he was tough, he was difficult.
Well, I think at one point he got a fever. It was his first time actually even taking baby Tylenol. Yeah. So I didn't know if the fever was from teething or this or that. You can't ask him, and it was just, it was a couple really tough. Tiring days.
So you come home on Monday, I pick you up again halfway Wisconsin Dells, and then we come home, and this little shit, I'll be the one to curse. This little shit sleeps the entire night. Like literally, I think he's up to like.
Guess who didn't? Because I had to wake up at 3 a.m. for work.
He just missed his house. He missed his crib.
That was awesome.
All right. Well, anyways, we're glad you're back. Me and Tristan are glad that you and Marino are back.
Whatever.
Now we're finally a family of 4 again.
I just can't even imagine the break that you received for 4 days. You didn't do anything, baby.
Okay, hold on a second though. I did a lot to this house. Give me a little bit of credit.
You did, but like
I knocked it out the park with projects.
But you got to like sleep.
Anyways, we have 2 kids. Divide and conquer. Okay, I had Tristan. I did a bunch of stuff around. I power washed the patio. I cleaned our garage and organized our garage and I cleaned the floor. I did the pantry. I mean, I did a lot of checklist things. Were all taken care of. So I didn't just sit here and sleep. I promise you that.
I know.
I did get some sun though. Did that look all right?
Yeah, you slept more than me.
All right, fair. Okay, fair.
I'm annoyed.
All right, this episode is a doozy because we've kind of hinted at it for a while. But you okay?
Yeah.
We kind of hinted at it for a while, but we're going to tackle it right now. There is an age difference between Kenzie Roman and Justin Roman. And we don't care. We don't care anymore. I think the people around us don't care anymore, but it was very, very real from the very beginning of our relationship to how we got here. So full disclosure, there is an 18-year age difference between me and Kenzie. Okay, I know you guys are probably like, well, who's older and who's younger?
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
I'm gonna let you guys just guess that. Okay, we're not gonna confirm or deny, but there is an 18-year age gap. It's funny, when I first met her, obviously one of the first things you find out is somebody's age, right? We're kind of set up by Eric Bradley, but not romantically, more like hey, take Kenzie around and show her Chicago.
Right.
I'm like Mr. Chicago. And so it was kind of more one of those things. And so one of the first things you talk about is, hey, how old are you? How old are you? You know? So I knew there was an age difference from the jump. I met you when you were 23 years old.
Yes. I was 23. And you were 41.
Okay.
Just
I was gonna leave it ambiguous, but whatever, it's fine. Let's give numbers.
18 years.
Yeah. So you were 23, and I was like, I didn't care. Like we really, really vibed. I kind of joked around early on with you about, I feel like I'm a lot more immature than my age, and I feel like you're more mature than your age.
Yeah.
We meet somewhere in the middle right there, you know? You are a professional. You have a very promising and decorated radio career, okay? And you love radio, and you have a passion for radio, as do I. You came here to work at B96 for about 4 years, was it? And I was there for 12 years. I mean, we had a lot in common in the professional situation.
Right.
We both had aspirations of doing TV, which came later for us, but still we both had aspirations of doing TV. We both loved the same music. It was crazy to find a girl, because you were 23, but your favorite artist of all time is who?
Prince.
Okay.
And Selena Quintanilla.
So Prince is my second favorite artist of all time, Michael Jackson being the first, but I also love Selena.
Yeah.
My favorite rapper is Tupac. One of your favorite rappers is Tupac. We really vibed on a lot of things. One of the first dates I took you on was Rock of Ages, the musical, which is it's a really, really great musical. But
it was so good.
It's so good. I've seen it like 4 times. I took my mom to see it. Like, it's so good. But anyways, it's based in the 80s, and it's like all these 80s rock band ballads and songs kind of make this love story, and you knew all the songs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was actually so fun to see them used that way in the story. It's so good.
It's such a good musical.
One of my favorites.
Don't watch the movie. I heard it sucks, but the musical is awesome.
It is.
So anyways, but you were like an old soul, you know what I'm saying? You also, being 23, you weren't really trying to go out and club and get drunk and those kind of things, and that was never who I was. I was never a club head. I was never, and if I was, it was because I was hosting for
you
B96.
Were like working.
And, right.
You weren't like, I want to be out and get wasted.
Exactly, right.
So, and we were on the same page where some people may be like, I saw you at clubs all the time, but it was for my radio jobs. I would not have been like in line at a club trying to go to a club.
Same. Right. I was promoting clubs or whatever for the
part of work
for the station, right? So you, to me, felt like an older 23. I don't want to speak for you, so why don't you speak for it? Like, how did you see me knowing how old I was?
When I met you, I thought that you were probably like 35 is what I would have guessed.
Thank you.
Yeah, because of how you looked and how you acted and everything. So I thought you were like in your 30s, because it wasn't like the first thing we said is how old. Like, it wasn't. Yeah. And I'm assuming based on the job I had, you probably thought I was mid to late 20s. You know?
You were on the fast track in radio for sure.
Right. So,
you still are, but at that time you were as well.
Thank you. So, for me, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's gonna sound bad when I say this, but I've never been attracted to, like, how do I say this right?
Younger guys.
I've always liked guys who are older.
Okay.
I actually like the look of, like, I like the salt and pepper is like my thing. And you know how, like, some people, like, girls have like boy bands on their walls, like posters.
Yeah.
I did not have that, because I'm like, well, these are children. Like, even when I was thinking, that was not attractive to me when I was 15.
You didn't have the VI3 poster on your wall?
No, but you know what I did have on my wall?
What?
Is, and I don't even know if you're going to realize this, like, what it is, Viggo Mortensen from Lord of the Rings, who was like 45. And like, that's what I had on my wall.
You didn't go to many high school parties, did you?
But like, that's who I was attracted.
Lord of the Rings?
I love Lord of the Rings. And it's
but the poster on the wall?
I loved Viggo Mortensen. I was like in love with him. I loved him.
Oh my God.
And then the other guy that I really liked at a young age was Richard Gere from Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
So like, I've always just been more attracted to the older look.
For Halloween, wanted to be Julia Roberts and Richard Gere from Pretty Woman.
I did. For you just have to wear a suit, though.
Yeah,
It's like,
yes.
you were like, it's not that fun.
Funny story, though, about her liking my scruff, okay? Because growing up, I always was taught, like, professional, dressy, you shave all the way through. Okay, so I always shaved. I'm sure for our first date, I was freshly shaven. I'm sure
you were.
And then you were like, "Oh, I like the scruff, right?" And so that's cool because it's easier for me as a guy, right? But let me tell you how dumb I am. I will admit when I'm dumb, and this was a very, very dumb thing. So I have a lot of like TV appearances and everything like that. So back in the day, like when we were dating early on, I was probably doing like Windy City Live or something like that. And you liked the scruff on me. You said you like it better. So what I would do, this is so embarrassing, is I would do the math in my head of, okay, I'm doing Windy City Live on like Thursday. So let me shave on Monday and then not shave again until Thursday to get my scruff where I want it to be. And I was doing that for a while. Then I was on Fox for a while. I was on different...
And it would bother me because I was like, why doesn't he listen to me? I like the scruff all the time. I don't know why he's shaving once a week and then I have to spend 2 days being like, yeah, and then I like really like it again. I don't get it.
I forget how it came up, but you're like, why don't you just get like a clipper or a trimmer?
Yeah, like, why do you always shave it off?
I go, what are you talking about? She's like, they have these things that you could actually have like a beard and then it just like cuts the beard down. I didn't know that. I go,
how do you think some guys like have mustaches all the time?
I thought that was like to shave you fully, like an electronic razor. I didn't know that they had like clippers. So literally I go,
but you see men with permanent goatees and be like, how do you think that happened?
So like I was doing math. I'm like, oh, Monday I'll shave. So Thursday I look good. But you've opened my entire world up now.
You're so welcome.
To clippers and trimmers.
So this is what I mean about he's a child, even though he's 18 years older than me. And when people have been like, well, what do you think the age difference? And I go, honestly, I would go older next time. If something happens between us, I want like a 70-year-old. Like I want somebody exhausted.
Oh my God, yeah.
I thought that you wouldn't have the energy to like argue with me and stuff, but like you still do.
You know,
that's so tiring.
I feel like age is a state of mind. I really, really do.
Unless you're underage. We're not, this isn't like an R. Kelly Pro podcast or something.
Yeah, true. But I will say like, age is a state of mind to me. I feel like, God, I feel like I'm in my 20s right now. I really, really do. I mean, like up until this year, I was still playing baseball twice a week. You see me with Tristan. I mean, I'm training the kid and like, I still am insanely athletic. I think I'm in the best shape of my life right now. And we have a newborn or a 3-month-old. You say newborn still or no?
I still say newborn.
Okay.
It was pretty new to me.
He's almost 4 months. So when do we stop saying newborn?
I don't know.
All right. Well, anyways, I mean,
when he's like 18.
You see what I do with him and like throwing him up in the air or whatever. I mean, like I'm pretty active with the kids. I'm pretty active in my life. I feel like age is a state of mind. I feel healthy. I feel young. I feel energetic. So, yeah, I never really felt my age. I mean, it is crazy to me. And I'm not going to name any names, but when I see some people that I grew up with or went to high school with, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, you look like you're, you look like you're our age. Like, I just feel like I don't. Funny story really fast is that Six Flags Great America back in the day, we used to go all the time, right? Because we used to do live broadcasts and everything like that. And you know, I don't know if they do it anymore, but they used to have a guy that would guess your age. Yes. I would clean up. I would clean. That dude,
you know who else?
That dude could never touch me, ever.
You know who else was really good at that and always won? My mom.
Yeah, your mom looks great.
Because like she's so hot, and like everyone's always like,
well,
what?
I can't say that, but she looks really, really good.
Yes, yeah. But my mom always crushed that, and yeah. I
had so many stuffed animals because like we win this thing every single time. So anyways, my point is I thank you for saying that I looked young when we first met and you thought I was younger than what I was. I feel younger. I guess, you know, I do hope I look younger. I've been trying to take good care of myself. We never had a problem with age. I mean, at least I never did. It sounds like you never did either.
Yeah, we never had a problem with it. There's certain things that pop up where you're like, okay, that's like because of our age difference. So sometimes the only issue that I've had with our age difference is sometimes I think that you brush stuff off because you're like, oh, whatever. Yeah. But it's something that you would have cared about when you were my age and you don't anymore. And it's like, hey, that's not 100% fair. Just because you're over it or you've dealt with crap like that before, so you're like, it's like, sometimes you have to remember that I am still that age, even though I'm mature for my age, and at least give me some grace or understand why I feel a certain way. And I think that sometimes you feel so done with some of that stuff, and it's like, well, you can't take. I'm only going to be done with that kind of stuff because I have the experience. Yeah. So you gotta like if you're gonna be the older person in this relationship, which you are, then you're supposed to help at least guide me sometimes, even though I'm kind of more mature in a lot of ways, but you should help like. You know what? I've been through that and I get it. So you can't be judgmental just because you've had more life experience sometimes.
Without us getting into a fight, can you give me some exampmes of that? Because I don't really know what you're talking about. I hear what you're saying. I just don't know.
Without us getting into a fight. Good question. I think there's sometimes, you know where our age difference comes into play sometimes is the social media things. Because there are definitely social media like rules or things we find appropriate or inappropriate for people my age.
Yeah.
And I think your age was a little lawless because it came around so much later.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, like I grew up with that being like a big deal though.
Yeah.
You know, and I've tried to explain that to you. You're like, I don't really get it because you didn't grow, like you weren't like super young with social media where like those things mattered or there was gossip about those things. I'm like, no, like how do you know?
Meaning like there are things you told me to not tweet about.
Yeah. Or like there's things that like, I don't think you understood sometimes of like, hey, that's not like super appropriate. Like you can't just do whatever you want. It's like, and you're kind of like, but like, who cares about social media? And it's like kind of everybody nowadays. Like you didn't like fully get that. Yeah. And it's like, okay, this is where like the generational gap is a little bit where that is it. Even if it's not a big deal to you, you can't just disregard something that is a big deal to somebody else. Like you have to like give them credit. I think sometimes with certain relationship things, like you probably feel like, I've already been through that kind of stuff and like, blah, like who cares?
Yeah.
Maybe even with like jealousy sometimes or whatever that you probably would have been more jealous when you were younger or what, things like that. And it's like, no, you got to like work with me a little bit, you know? And so that's probably the only issue I've had with our age difference of you can't just write things off because you're so done with it.
During tax season, you can write things off and with our business, we can.
Right.
I hear you. On the flip side of that, I think that one thing sticks out in particular. We had gotten a major fight before we were married, but like maybe engaged. I don't really know. You were living here and a big fight and you're like, so like, what does this mean? Like we gonna break up? And I'm like, no, like we're together like forever. Like this is us. We just are in a big fight right now. We're not breaking. We're just in high school. We're not breaking up. That was a very young thing for you. I thought the way you thought of it, like, so we're breaking up. And I'm like, you live here. We don't agree on this. We're fighting about it. Let's go to bed and we'll be fine tomorrow. Like that, to me, your age came through in that moment. And then sometimes with music, not like mainstream music, like, like Journey and Bon Jovi and stuff, but like certain things, like, I'll talk about Belle Biv DeVoe, who I loved growing up.
I know Belle Biv DeVoe. That was a bad one.
No, only because I made you watch the New Edition movie.
That is
true.
But I knew the song.
You only knew Poison.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I talk about posters on the wall. I had Belle Biv DeVoe's posters on my wall because I love, like if I said Do Me, you don't even know the song Do Me. You don't know that song. You know Poison, but not Do Me. My point is there's certain songs and music that I grew up to. Like I love R&B music, but old school R&B, like I took you to Boyz II Men, I think twice now because I love Boyz II Men. And
so did I.
There's like songs that just mean so much to me that you don't really know they don't
have the same impact on me. I'm like, I've heard this.
Yeah, for me,
I maybe like that. Right.
Yeah, for me, it was like a high school breakup song, and you're like, I think I heard this in a movie.
Oh my god, I heard it once in the background.
But yeah, it never ever bothered me ever. Your age never bothered. I just felt like when I knew it was right, and I knew that this felt different than anything I've been in before, so I didn't care. Now let's open the onion up a little bit because in my life, there were some people that cared about age, and in particular my mom, when she first she never met you before, she wasn't really aware of you, but she found out that I was dating somebody 18 years younger than me, and she was not happy. Now I my whole life have been like a mama's boy, my mom's opinion has always meant a lot to me, and so that was very, very difficult for me because I heard it. I just felt like, if and when you finally meet this girl, you're going to think differently. Because right now, Kenzie is only a number to you. She's only 23. You don't know Kenzie and how amazing she is and what an old soul she is and what a great mother I picture her to be one day and what a great wife. You don't know those things. All you know is a number. Now, I try to think about it from my mom's standpoint. And, I get it. If it's a big age difference. It is, and she didn't know. Listen, a lot of 23-year-old girls go out to the clubs, they get drunk, they're nowhere near.
And she was like, why would you pick that in your life right now?
They're nowhere near ready to like settle down with somebody like me. And then also my son, because don't forget, you were meeting me and my son. So I understand my mother's hesitation and maybe not approval right away. But man, I heard it. I heard it a lot, and it sucked because there were moments when, because she also had to watch Tristan when I was going on dates with you, and I tried to pick piggyback that with like, I had a work thing. I hosted for the Bulls. So I had a Bulls game. And then I could see, Kenzie, because then my mom she was already watching my son for work, or I had a concert I had to host and my mom was watching my son for work. I would piggyback those things on our dates. But, she made it a bit difficult for me early on because of our age difference. Now, I will say she finally met you. And she realized you were awesome. Like from the jump when she met you, she loved you. She thought you were great. She still thought you were 18 years younger than me, which was true.
That was factual.
But the more she got to know you, the more she saw what I saw. And fast forward to now in 2024, I mean, y'all are really, really close. You guys,
I love your mom.
She loves you. I think she's never admitted it to me, but I would imagine she would be like, okay, I was wrong. Like, you made a good call in this situation.
She said something really sweet to me. I think it was during the pandemic because we were all living together at that point. Mm-hmm. And she made a comment to me, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit of the exact quote, but she was like, you know what? You taught me something that it really is the person and not the age.
Yeah.
She goes, and she had said that she was surprised. She thought that I was great, but that I was probably still pretty young and pretty immature, and honestly, rightfully so. She wasn't judging me for that. Like, it was just like, you're 23. She thought you were like an idiot. That's what it was. She didn't think I was. Great. But she was like, why would you do that? Yeah. But it was a very sweet thing for her to say to me. And I mean, it was the truth. I mean, my parents didn't really have a problem with it. It did not rub them the wrong way. I think that they were more worried about the kind of person I was with. Like, there's a lot, especially having a daughter, you have a lot bigger fears than just like age. Once you're older, like, of course, if I was 15, they would have been like, what the hell's going on? But
if you were 0 and I was 18, it's a problem, right?
Yeah, no, they would have been terrified. But like, there's a lot bigger things that you're worried for your daughter than just like, you know what I mean? Like, fine, I could have dated somebody my age and he was this horrible person. Like that, you'd pick the age difference.
But so you first told your parents that you met this guy named Roman and you like him or whatever, and then I'm sure age came up and they literally just did not care? Or were there conversations about it?
There really weren't many conversations. I said, my mom is really, really cool about not getting ahead of herself. And so she's not going to flip out because like you dated somebody. It's like, okay, like, let's just why am I going to stress out? Let's see what kind of person he is first. Then let's see if they last a long time. Then let's see that.
That's cool.
She does not get overly ahead of herself. She's always like, okay, well, we'll see what happens with that. See if you like it. See if you don't like it. So they really didn't get flustered. The only thing my mom has ever vocalized, and my dad, honestly, as a concern for our age difference, has been one thing, and it's actually very sweet, is a concern that maybe I don't get to grow old with somebody. And they're like, we're not going to be here. And we're just worried, like, that you'll be like in your 70s, maybe by yourself. And of course your parents are gone. That's the only thing is like, we will like, what if he's not around? And I told her, I go, Mom, and my dad, but like having the conversation with my mom, it's like, well, how many women end up in horrible marriages and that they're also single later in life? If I'm lucky enough to have an amazing marriage that takes me to that point in life, like we're married over 40 years. Yeah. I mean, that's just when you're counting your blessings, not, why didn't it last a little bit longer?
And tomorrow's not promised for anybody. We could be 25 and 25 Absolutely. And I got a car accident. We could be the same age,
of course. And I go, so I'm not going to not be with somebody because in 40 years, what if he's not? That isn't exactly what you said. You have no idea what could happen to anybody.
I could outlive you.
That's mean.
No, I'm just saying, like...
That's just like you're wishing me death. That's like really bad. You want me to die.
You and your mom talked about, obviously, me going first. I'm saying it could be...
Because you're older and you're a guy. Guys statistically go first. That's what you see a lot. You want to know why?
Because...
What? Because do you think I'm going to kill you?
No, I'm saying because of all the stress the women put on us and this the drama is like, the heart just goes. Okay, so your parents were very cool about it. I do know that your brother had a problem with it.
Yes.
Why don't we talk about that? We talked about my mom. Let's talk about your brother. So I
have 2 brothers.
Right.
I'm the youngest and I have 2 brothers.
The one didn't care.
No. Keaton is 3 years older than me, and he doesn't care about anything in the entire world.
Right. He liked me.
And then Adam, he's like, whatever. And then Adam is 10 years older than me. Right. So the thing is with Adam is he's always almost been another parent to me.
Oh, I get it.
At first, I was the only girl in the family. And then he's 10 years older than me. Like, he's always just been super protective. He's never liked anything. Like, any guys or when I'm moving, or one time I told him I wasn't doing good in school and he told on me. I'm like, this sucks. You're supposed to be like my brother. Like, he's always just been like another like strict figure. So it bothered him. I think because in his mind, think of it this way. He imagined me as like a little baby and you're older than him.
Yeah, I am.
So I think he was like, what's wrong with this person? Like, but I'm 5. I am 5 to Adam forever. Like, that is how he views me. So it took him a while, and I was finally like, Dad's okay with it. So, like, could you just relax? And he did. Once you guys got along, it just bothered. He was very protective. Do you
think part of the problem was that I am a diehard Cubs fan, as you could tell? And your brother is an Indians fan, and the Cubs beat the Indians in the World Series in 2016. Do you think that was?
To be honest with you, my dad had that one Cubs World Series sweatshirt thing that he wore.
Yeah.
And he wore it there once, not intentionally. Yeah. Like, he just obviously wears a bunch of Cubs stuff like you. You're not thinking about it. And it really upset. Like, my brother was bothered by it. Like,
it's a big deal, yeah.
He kind of felt like, I can't believe you just showed, like, why are you just trying to be a dick? Right. And my dad's like, I'm really sorry. Like, the guy, like, my dad had to, like, put it away. He couldn't wear it the rest, even when he was cold. He couldn't wear his sweatshirt the rest of the trip.
So not only is your brother mad that you're like, I'm older than you, but I'm a Cubs fan. And
yeah, no, it took him a while. And then.
Does it end then?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think, and I don't 100% know. So I'm very close with his wife, my sister-in-law, because he is 10 years older than me, and she came into my life when I was in like 7th grade or something like that. So it's really the closest thing to a sister I've ever had. She's been with me since I was so young, all my stages in life, and I just love her. And she kind of made a comment about like, well, he didn't tell me he was gonna, ask her to marry her. Like, it bothered him. It bothered him a little bit. Wow. And I think it bothered him a little. He wasn't like super open about that.
Yeah.
And then I made the point of he didn't even tell any of us when he was gonna propose to Kelly, like at all.
Good
like
call.
None of us.
Good call.
And I go, we found out like after you proposed, and
good
I'm
call.
Like,
good.
Good
job, Ed.
Shut up. But I was like, he's such a good brother, and he's very loving and protective.
Yeah, he's a nice guy for sure.
He really is, and he just.
What's funny though? I never even thought of talking to your brothers at all. Like, is that a thing?
I don't think
I talked to your dad. I mean, obviously I talked to your dad.
You shouldn't have talked to Keaton because what? Yeah.
Either way, but my point is, obviously I know about. I asked your father's permission first.
I don't think he necessarily wanted you to ask permission, but maybe just felt like he wanted to know what was going on or something like that. He didn't know.
I love your brother. I would do the same thing exactly the way I did it because our engagement was a secret, and then getting your parents down here to Chicago for a surprise dinner. It was all a big surprise. Like very limited people knew about this, and what's the one thing about a secret? You want to keep it? Don't tell anybody, right? You tell one person, and then it just so I would not. I didn't realize it bothered him a little bit, but I would not change a thing because the way that it was so special, and I've never heard of like giving the brothers the heads up. I always heard of the dad.
I mean, sometimes family knows because people involve family. Sometimes, I mean, like your sister knew.
Well, because we had a surprise. It was kind of during the edge of COVID, so we had a surprise engagement dinner here in Chicago, and so my family lives in Chicago, so that's why they were there.
Yes.
Had your brother and sister-in-law live in Chicago, they'd be invited as well.
Right. So, but that's what I'm saying. It's not abnormal for siblings to know, like in some, manner or whatever.
For the record, I told my son, Tristan, the day of.
Well, because Tristan would have said something. He was like 6. He was 6 at the time.
I told him the day of. Because
Tristan would have been like, Kenzie, guess what's happening this week?
And we took him to school that morning, and I didn't tell him until after school, just so he couldn't slip with you.
It's a good point.
I didn't want him slipping at all.
He's such a little gossip with me, and I love it. I've created a monster, but he absolutely would have told me without a doubt. Yeah.
Well, anyways, I think that, my mom is very, very, very happy for us. I believe your brother is very, very happy for us. It just kind of shows you can't judge a book by its cover, Some people have a problem with the 18-year gap, but for us, we never did. And it never... we fit together. We fit together so well, and I've dated people in the past. You've dated people in the past, and I mean, I don't know if the age gaps were I mean, I'm assuming they were smaller for all of us. But my point is that we get along with each other much better than anything from the past.
Right.
When those age gaps were probably much closer. So
Right.
age is nothing but a number. And
when it's used appropriately.
Yeah, I mean,
just small disclaimer. We gotta be slightly careful with the podcast.
I met her when she was 23.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, for us it works. I know it does not work for everybody. But I do think patience is important because you are in different generations and you are a little bit in two different stages of life, a little bit. And it's something important to keep in mind, even vice versa. Sometimes I want you to have patience with me, but sometimes I have to realize the reason he's not as into this is because he's a little older. Like you have to do those things. Yeah. There's still effort involved, but every relationship's going to take effort. So what do you want to pour the effort into? Like it's going to need to happen. So,
but I think we balance each other out because you are very high strung and you're like a worrywart. You really are. Self-proclaimed. Tell me you're not.
Yes.
Okay. You're like a worrywart and I am a way more chill where I'm like even with our son, even with Marino, you will stress about. I'm like, babe, it's fine. Like it's good. Like I feel like I give you different perspective because I'm older, and this is your first time walking through a couple things. But I mean, I have perspective of like there's certain things that have always bothered you about like work or about friends or about whatever, and I've taken my many more years of experience, and I hope I've given you like words of wisdom, even in radio and in media. I've done it longer and I've done it as well. So I think that I've also been able to give you some good advice. You bounce ideas off me and vice versa, because then also I want the new school idea and the new school
and male
twist.
Male and female approaches.
We're the yin and the yang, but it's perfect. I feel like.
Yeah. And it's so funny because when I was single, if you would have asked me like, okay, who do you see yourself with? I would have thought, I want someone so detached from media that they don't even have like a Facebook, right? Like I don't even want a realtor because they'd be all over social media. Like I want someone just like who does plumbing or something. Yeah. And I never thought at all, like it was in a weird way, we bonded over, but it was not appealing to me originally that you were in media. Cause I was like, I think I want to just come home at the end of the day and have that shut off. But it just shows you that like God knows what you need more than you do, because I really felt like the outlet you've been for me in certain situations. Yeah. When I need advice or I'm stressed about something, I'm like, is this normal? Is this not normal? What do you think of this idea? Like I would not have been able to receive any kind of relief from somebody who didn't have that experience.
Yeah, I get it. Right.
Right. It would have been really tough. So, it's actually caused me less stress. I always thought it would cause me more stress to be with somebody in media, but it's actually caused me less, which is really nice.
And being older, I was at the B96 first, so and then your bosses, when you came there, were actually my old bosses from back in the day. So I was able to kind of give you a little bit of a lay of the land a little bit about them and stuff. I did mornings before you did mornings. So I was able to kind of help you out with the sleep patterns and what. So I think my age difference with you has been a benefit in certain ways as well, because of just the experience that and the knowledge that I can give you of this didn't work for me. Oh, this worked awesome, or whatever. I feel like it's being in the same career field that we are, but me being older and having more experience in it, I think has been a great benefit to you. And again, I'll flip it on me. I think my old school ways of radio is different now, so thankfully you're younger. And that's why I think our brand is so good, because I'm like old school Chicago, whatever. And you're like new school Chicago. So I feel like we're just kind of like the perfect little mix of
we both bring something different, which is really, really nice.
We do.
We're definitely not a copy and paste of each other.
No, we're definitely not.
We are not, but we get along so well. And
we do.
You do help me with the stress, because it's something, I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but I've had like severe anxiety and severe like stress issues for a long time. Yeah. And they've really been amplified after having a baby, because I know there is like the postpartum depression. And I do think I've had, some of that to a point where I've even started like losing hair after having the baby and stuff like that. I've been like that level of stressed. And what's so weird is right away when you have a baby, everyone cares about you. Like for like 3 weeks. And then after that, everyone feels like you should just be like over it. And it's so interesting because like right now it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and
happy
Mental Health Awareness Month, but it is.
I get you a card.
Shut up. When you say it like that, so it is, and there's all these things going on right now. Where people are like, oh, make sure you're aware of this. Make sure you're aware of this. And I do think women who have just had kids get like so almost shafted, and people are like bothered by you because I just had somebody recently go like, well, a lot of people have families, and I'm like, well, I can still have a tough day. I'm still dealing with like recently having a baby and the shift of that and going back to work, and at the end of the day right now, I am not the same person. I don't feel the same inside. And I have that I'm struggling with. And it's so hard to go do a job that it's like, be sunshine, be sunshine, be sunshine, be at everything. And it's like, and you're trying to do it because you're just letting people down if you're not. But it's like I feel like emotionally I'm dealing with a lot of stuff, and it's been really hard.
And you bring up a very good point, because our job in radio and media is to be happy and smiley and funny and those things, and you're going through it now with postpartum and then being a morning show at Q101, be funny, be all and I'm not trying to like say I understand completely, but when my father passed away in 2017, I was doing mornings at US 99, and sure, I had my week or two off, but then I'm back on the air. Be funny, be witty, be entertaining, and I was dying inside, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But our job is very much smiles and laughter and all those things, so
and like social media,
yeah.
And it's like sometimes like the social media aspect has been the hardest for me lately, because I'm like, I feel dead inside. I don't feel like coming home and be like, what can I put out there? Like, I don't have that internal feeling, and I used to, and it's like, and you're like, well, I still have to be a good employee. I still have to do this, but it's so against like naturally how I feel right now. And it's been really, really hard, but I do like, luckily again, I ended up with somebody in media. So you're just used to talking a lot.
Yeah.
And I need someone to talk to all the time.
I love being your soundboard.
Yes.
I love knowing about all the work problems and all the friend problems and all. I love it.
Family
problem, everything.
Weight
problems. Oh my God. All right. So I don't know how we start talking about that in the age difference episode, but
because we're talking about you helping me with stress.
Yeah, right. Exactly. For sure. But we thought we'd end the podcast and Famously in Love, kind of going over the most drastic age differences in Hollywood, because 18 years is nothing in Hollywood. Nothing. This is like
a little something.
No, in Hollywood, this is like, man, why are you guys even together? Okay,
like this is too close.
All right, the largest age gap. This is crazy to me. Okay.
Okay.
Al Pacino and Noor Afala.
So, 54-year age gap.
54-year age gap.
He's 83 or 29. They actually just welcomed their son to the world. They had a child together. Now, I have to say, can I tell you something crazy about this?
Sure.
Okay, so scroll up because I want to see this picture.
Yeah.
I obviously am the same age as this girl, Noor. I'm 29.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, you are.
She, one of my best friends in North Carolina when I was young was named Noor.
Oh, no way.
And she looked like this, and it's like,
is it her?
Just like darker. I don't know. And it's bothering me because I'm like, did she end up with Al Pacino?
Well, she's rich. Maybe you should get her get her to fund the podcast.
My girlfriend, what has been going on with you? We need to catch up. So much has happened since third grade.
The Romance Podcast brought to you by Al Pacino.
Yes.
I love that. That's got a good ring to it. But honestly, I don't care about age. 83 and 29 is nuts.
It's okay. Nuts. Think about how tired you've been with a baby.
Yeah.
He's 83 with a newborn.
I don't want to get into like anatomy, but how can an 83-year-old guy even get a woman pregnant? That's crazy to me.
I mean, good for him, I guess,
He was so certain he could not get his girlfriend or anyone pregnant, he requested a DNA test.
Yeah.
That had to be a fun conversation.
He now is a fan of the baby.
Good. It's good.
He's come around.
Man, that's crazy. 83 and 29. I mean, you're 29. I mean, we're only 18 difference. 18 years. This is 54 years. That's a lot, man. I think your parents would be pissed about that.
I don't think they would. He'd be older than them, which would bother them.
But it's not only guys. Your girl, Cher.
I love Cher.
Cher and Alexander Edwards, 40-year difference. Cher's the older one. Alexander Edwards is the younger one.
So you know what's even interesting tidbit about this? Alexander Edwards had recently broken up with Amber Rose. You know who Amber Rose is?
Kanye West ex, a porn star, right?
Kanye West ex. She was a stripper.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
So
Stripper.
watch yourself. She was Kanye West's ex. She then married Wiz Khalifa. They got married and had a kid. Then they broke up and she had a child with him. So she's a kid with Alexander Edwards.
Wow.
He went on a podcast. I don't know if he was drunk or something. Completely admitted he like cheated on Amber Rose. And that's how she found out that he was a cheater. They break up. Now he's with Cher.
Did I ever tell the story on this podcast about Nick Cannon and Christina Milian?
No.
This is
Do say.
the funniest story ever.
Okay.
And when I interviewed both of them in my life multiple times, they both were cool people. I will say Nick Cannon was awesome. Christina Milian was awesome. But we were talking to Christina and
Did they meet on Love Don't Cost a Thing? Is that where they met?
I don't know that.
Huh.
Okay. But Christina Milian, for whatever reason, was very comfortable with us talking about how she caught Nick Cannon cheating. And she, back in the day, I'm sorry. She went on email, whether Yahoo or whatever. She broke into his email. Guess what Nick Cannon's password for his email was back in the day?
What?
Nick. She logged into his email. It was Nick, and she found like evidence of him cheating. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. It was. I
just can't imagine people cheating via email. That blows my mind.
This is back in the day.
This is the age difference.
Yeah, the age difference, right? I mean, God, B96 was 2004. I mean, this is probably 2006, maybe.
Cheating via email. What were people doing in the emails?
But maybe pictures. You know, like I think it was pictures. I don't know.
Oh, because you couldn't send them to phones yet?
Maybe. I don't know.
You were alive. Tell me.
I don't know what their situation was. I'm just saying she found out he was cheating because she cracked into his email, but his password was like Nick.
That's unbelievable. Oh my!
You couldn't even put like Nick C or something.
An explanation point.
Yeah. It's before they had to do the explanation and the capitals.
There was no special characters.
No. Okay, another woman cougar.
Well, she's nuts.
Madonna and Josh Popper, 35 years. Madonna is 35 years older. Now, listen, this is kind of crazy. So he's a boxer. Okay, here's how they met. The boxer, Josh Popper, was training Madonna's son. Oof. And that's how Madonna met.
Let's scroll up. I want to see that picture. Hold on.
Madonna looks so weird.
Yeah.
Listen, I know women have a problem with aging and society and social media.
Society treats them like absolute crap for getting older. Yeah.
I get it. But it looks so much worse when you have all that plastic surgery done and like you just look like a freaking plastic robot.
But Bob, the thing that made me not super happy about Madonna / with Madonna was she casted her movie and she put the actresses who were up for it through hell. They had to go through like a boot camp. And then our girl who played Ruth in Ozarks gets the part.
Oh, I love her, yeah.
After going through all of this, and you don't get paid for it till you get the part. She gets the role.
That's right.
And then Madonna was like, well, I want to go on tour instead and like cancel. It's like somebody spent like months working and you're not going to pay them. I just don't like selfish things like that.
I'm a child of the 80s and I love Michael Jackson and I love Prince. I was never a Madonna fan.
I wasn't either. And like, I'm not saying you know who I was more of a Cyndi Lauper girl. I loved, I felt like those were the two at that time. I felt like
Madonna was way bigger, but I hear what you're saying.
I'm saying? Yeah. I always loved Cyndi Lauper. I thought she was fun. I thought she was crazy. I loved her voice.
Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper's voice, she doesn't get enough credit, was out of this world.
Well, because Girls Just Want to Have Fun was her big single. Kind of a fun, fluffy song. Yeah. But like time after time, gorgeous ballad. I mean, she has a good voice. Yeah,
and people just don't realize the way she can belt out. So I was more of a Cyndi Lauper girl personally. Madonna should have been famous. I'm not saying that, but she just was. I was not a Madonna girly.
Yeah, I agree. Another one, Kris Jenner and Corey Gamble. Kris Jenner is 25 years older than Corey Gamble. Question for you, and I'm not trying to be funny here.
Okay.
When Caitlyn Jenner refers to her ex, does she say my ex-husband?
You mean when Kris Jenner refers to her ex?
Is that what I said?
You said Caitlyn Jenner.
I'm sorry.
Caitlyn Jenner.
I'm sorry. So when Kris Jenner says, my ex.
Yeah.
Is she like, oh, my ex-husband?
Yes. Yes.
Yes?
Says my ex-husband.
Okay.
Because all the girls say father and stepfather.
They do say that.
Caitlyn Jenner, when it first happened, was like, I don't want you to think you're losing a dad.
Okay.
I don't want to change that for you. I don't want you to call me mom. You already have a mom.
Okay.
So she was really good about that. And was like, I am your dad. I don't want you to feel that way. They still say stepdad. Kris Jenner says my ex-husband. So that does happen. I know that Kris Jenner had a real emotional breakdown when Caitlyn Jenner was still transitioning.
Okay.
And changed from Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn Jenner and had actually gotten like the birth certificate or something updated. It was something along those lines of like the actual paperwork. And Kris Jenner actually broke down and was very emotional, even though they're already divorced, and was like, so does that mean I was just like never married because Bruce Jenner, like the person I married, didn't exist anymore? And it was actually a really sad emotional moment because at the end of the day, even though you're not together, think of the history. I mean, what they were together for so long and had these kids together, and she's like, she was very conflicted of like, so Bruce doesn't exist, I can't acknowledge Bruce, and how hard that would be. It's almost like a death, even though that person's there, you're trying to refer to them in such a different light and stuff like that. So that family did really struggle with that. But Caitlyn's been very adamant. I'm your stepdad. I'm your dad. I don't want you to lose that aspect of your life.
Such a weird thing. I mean, like, listen, you could think what you want about the Kardashians, and you could think what you want about Kris Jenner, but I can't even imagine you as a woman having to walk through the fact of like your ex is no longer a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna be a weird,
it would be really
weird
hard
thing.
Well, especially because this does happen to people where they are, in love with somebody. So, if you wanted to transition or something, and then I'm obviously not attracted to women, which it's fine if you are, but I'm just, I'm not. And how hard that would be. So it's like, then you can't be with that person. There's a lot of battles that go on, during that change. And I did honestly feel for the family in many ways. There was a lot that they had to work through, as a unit. There's a lot going on there. It was not easy. It was not an easy journey for anybody, in that.
For sure. Well, anyways, those examples I gave you show that, 18 years is nothing. We are boring in Hollywood.
Yeah, we're too close in age.
If we were famous in Hollywood, we'd be nothing. 18 years is nothing. I still can't get over Al Pacino, 82 years old.
What's one fun thing we really like to do is, when did you graduate?
1995.
And that's the year I was born. So we say it was a really big year
for
us as a couple.
It was a big year for us.
And I honestly, I'm still sorry I didn't make it to the grad.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Of all the important things in my life that you claim to be there for.
I know, and I feel like shit about that. I do.
You should.
I do.
Like, what were you doing?
Crawling. I was trying to figure it out and eating my hands.
All right. Well, anyways, thank you so much for checking out this week's episode of the Romance Podcast. And I hope you learned a little bit about us and our age gap. And I would do it all over again. I think you're perfect for me. I hope you feel the same way.
I'm happy you do it all over again. We've only been married for like a year and a half.
Yeah, you always joke around about, oh my God, when I turn 30, you're gonna be like mad at me. Like, no, you're good. Like you will always be 18 years younger than me.
That's true.
No matter what, right?
That's true.
Another thing that's true is, remember, you cannot spell romance without Roman.